And welcome back to the Nose Plays Endless Legend. I sort of failed you guys in that a couple days ago, a very small but new update for Endless Legend came out, and over the weekend they had a sale on the game, and I meant to do a video on that and announce it for everybody in case they hadn't picked up all the DLC for Endless Legend yet, but I missed that announcement because I just checked before starting this game, and the sale unfortunately has already ended. It was a very short sale. But Endless Legend did recently release a new update. That update came with a free piece of DLC in a brand new minor faction. It was in celebration of the game finally getting support for Chinese. So they finally got language support for Chinese for the game, which is pretty cool. And as a result, they made a minor faction based on Chinese mythology, as I understand it. I don't know much about them, but maybe we'll come across them in the game. So, as a side note, you may notice that I am also running the Endless Legend community patch. The guys over at ELCP were very quick on the gun with this, and they got a beta out within hours, I believe, of the announcement of this being released, and then an official patch about 24 hours later. So the game is officially patched for ELCP again, and we're going to give it a spin tonight. I'm going to wait just a few minutes to see if anybody joins the stream before we begin, and I will give anybody who does join the stream the option of voting on what faction they'd like to see me play. So we'll just wait a few minutes, and I'll go ahead and mute the mic. If anybody does join the stream, please say something in the chat so that I can respond to you guys, and we'll go from there. There will be a timestamp for when the actual gameplay starts in the comment section of this video. So if you want to skip ahead to the actual gameplay, go ahead and check that timestamp. And I'll be back shortly. Welcome to the stream, Bobby. I will be starting the gameplay shortly, if you want to just hang out for a minute. And we'll wait for a few more people to join, and then if you guys want, I'll let you guys vote or pick which faction we play tonight. But I'm going to be playing some Endless Legend this evening for a couple hours. Do you have a preference on which faction we play tonight? I might just go ahead and leave it on random and see what happens. There are a few factions that I would rather not play, but I'm open to whatever as well. I'm going to give it about 5 more minutes before we start. I'll be back in a second. All right. I think that's long enough to let people join and make sure that everybody got a chance to see that we're streaming. So Let's go ahead and figure out what faction we're going to play. Man, so many good factions in Endless Legend. I think I'm going to go ahead and play the Roving clans. I haven't played them in a while. And do I want to go completely random for the AI? I think I will. I've already got the map settings set the way I like. We are only playing on hard difficulty, but remember this is with the ELCP mod, so the AI is significantly more intelligent in the way that they play. I also have the large tile set so that everything looks kind of big. Hopefully that makes it easier for you guys to read while we're playing if you're watching on your phone or something. It does make it a little bit more cumbersome for me because some of these menus are like way huge, but I shall endure. So Endless Legend, still one of the greatest 4X games to ever grace the internet, as far as I'm concerned. The game is just so much better with the ELCP mod. If you guys have not tried this out, you need to get in contact with the guys over at the Discord channel for ELCP, get a copy of the mod, and give it a try. It is fantastic. It is not one that you can download in the normal mod section of the Steam Workshop because they change the game so dramatically. It doesn't qualify for being put there, and so it's a complete overhaul of the entire game system. Rebalances a lot of things, changes and adds quite a few little details that make the game a lot easier to play. It's an amazingly polished mod that enhances the game in almost every way, in my opinion. And I don't think I'll ever play the game again without it. But the biggest change that it really makes is just how much better the AI plays. The game becomes nearly impossible on Endless because they cheat so much because of the AI mechanics. But in addition to that cheating, they're actually a lot more intelligent than they normally would be. Okay, so we're going to play the Roving clan. I haven't played the Roving clan in quite a while. This is looking promising. One of the first things that I always like to do when I'm playing a game of Endless Legend is just zoom on out and see where we're at. So you can see this border different shade up here. This is the northern polar ice cap. This is in, excuse me. This is in every game of Endless Legend. There's also a southern one, but for whatever reason, it doesn't show up the same way. But this right here indicates that we are in the northern edge of the continent. And I do have this set to a single large continent with some islands, so there will be a couple of small islands out in the ocean somewhere that somebody can grab. But for the most part, it's just a single large continent. We do have a number of these really nice special tiles. And let's see, that's a food one, another food one. This one actually has some approval attached to it, as well as science and dust, and then another food one. So we got a lot of food. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the tile output indicators. And what we're seeing here is not a lot of industry, but a fair amount of food. I'm guessing that this tile is probably going to be our best tile, although it's going to have a very, very small amount of industry, which is not so ideal. This tile might not be terrible, but this is going to block one of our production sites. these don't produce anything, and so putting your city next to them is generally a bad idea. There's not too many other spots that I see in the immediate vicinity that are fantastic. The first thing that I'm going to do is detach my hero, just so I can get vision on this tile over here. We're going to grab this with the hero, and it looks like we've got an empty location. That's kind of unfortunate. We'll take our first dervish over here. Let's go to there for now. Okay, we can go over one more, and one more, and one more. Go ahead and search this. Come back to this ruin with a Delver unit and a minimum of 2 titanium and 1 glass steel for a very nifty crossbow. We actually have a crossbow wielding hero, so this could be something that we could pick up relatively quickly. It's a pretty good weapon. The main benefit of this weapon is the 30% damage and 60% attack. That percent bonus really makes this effective on high level heroes. Unfortunately, we're not going to get much else out of that. So then the last thing we can do is send our other dervish this way and maybe uncover whatever's down here. We do have a titanium deposit, so that's a good. Yeah, let's just go ahead and move him down this way. Okay, and it looks like we started with a Kazanji. That's a little bit terrifying. Kazanji are incredibly powerful minor factions in the early game, and one that we definitely want to deal with as quickly as possible. Now that we've moved everybody but our settler, let's try and find a location that's going to give us the best. So this is going to be 21 food, but only 2 industry and 8 dust. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get a lot better than that. 2, 4, and 8 versus 4, 4, and 4. I'm not sure that it's worth doing. What about over here? I can get up to 9 industry right here, and also 15 food. What else can I get? So 9 industry is probably about the best that I can do, it looks like. 8. I could get 15 here. So 9 industry, so 9, 1, and 2 versus 9, 1, and 2. Let's zoom out just a little bit. Neither one of these spots is really going to be preferable to the other, but I think this one is going to be the problem. Yeah, no matter what I do, it's going to be bad. I think the science can be fixed with buildings faster than the industry can be fixed. The other thing we can do for science, if we have to, is move some population over to science temporarily. 15 food's going to mean we're going to grow pretty fast. I can also expand to here, and that gives me more food but no science. Yeah. Now you have me second guessing myself. I think science is going to be rough no matter where we go, though. There's just not a lot of science on this at all. Alright, I'm going to make the call. We're going to go here. Yeah, there's no science over here at all. This probably would have been even worse because the only science tile over here is that one. So while we would have started with more science, there's less to even expand to. There is a bunch of science out here, but they would have taken us 2 turns to get there, so not ideal. We'll make it work. Now that we do have this, we need to figure out what our first technology is going to be. I'm debating whether to go language square and try to get the Kazanji right away, or perhaps we need to just grab our science building right away. I think we're going to start with this. It's going to take us forever to get that 14 turns. Holy moly. What if we do that? 5 turns is a long time. It will be a little bit faster than that, but not much. It's kind of a rough start, to be perfectly honest. We're really forced to deal with these guys quickly. Once they start roaming around, they're strong enough that they'll beat up our army really bad, and we can't afford to let that happen. So we either need to pacify them quickly before they spawn roaming armies, or just wipe them out with our garrison. That would be the other reason to maybe put our city down here, is we could use our garrison in the fight. I think... Let me check my hero. Does my hero have any good starting stats? Dust efficiency... Yeah, not really anything great. No sense in putting her in the city, even in the short term. We'll just assign her to this army for now. That will reduce the number of armies we have moving around, but it also decreases the pressure on our dust, since we don't have a lot of dust either. And then the last thing that I want to do is edit our dervish. We have the hammer, which is a stunning weapon. We could also go for a spear, which has cavalry slayer. Slightly different stats. 9 attack, 4 damage versus 12 attack, 4 damage. But this also adds a little bit of defense. It is a two-handed weapon, so we lose the shield. Actually, it's basically the equivalent of a shield, minus the sharp sense. Let's keep the stun for now. We'll throw those on there. And then I don't think we can afford this yet, so we'll just do that for now. And I should be able to retrofit both of these guys. That's going to put us in a pinch if we don't get some dust here pretty quickly. Hopefully we'll find some ruin sites and collect some dust. Alright, is there anything else that I really need to do at the beginning here? I don't think so. We didn't get any boosters. This is a good screen to check right here. So right here, in this box, if there was anything in these gray tiles we haven't uncovered yet, say another strategic or luxury resource deposit, they would show up on here as question marks. What this indicates to me is that we do not have any more villages, which you never do. You only ever start with one in your starting region. But we also have no more luxury or strategics that are currently revealed. That's kind of unfortunate. Alright, go ahead and end the first turn. And we have our quest. Alright, new quest, A Merchant's Tale. I'm not going to read all this, but I will read the objective. So it says, make sure all the haunt villages are pacified in the region where the indicated ruins lie. This is just fantastic. So the two of the most powerful minor faction units that you can get placed near you are Kazanji and Haunts. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing if you plan on assimilating them and using their units, although they're quite expensive. They're very powerful. But the bad thing is they're very dangerous units to fight. And unfortunately, I don't think our units are best suited for fighting them. We're cavalry units with cavalry slayer or stuns. It's going to be interesting. we may have to get our ranged units picked up here really quickly. And that's going to be hard because we don't have a lot of science. Okay, first things first, let's get a little bit of scouting done this direction. And then the one thing I am going to do, I am going to go ahead and throw this, which will give her... we don't have the dust for it. Never mind. Give her a little bit more vision, but we can't even afford to do that just yet. Man, do I just want to roll the dice on fighting these guys right away? We do have 3. We could just let our militia handle it. This is going to take so long. Yeah. I think we do. Alright, well, let's just get right into it. We get to use our militia, and we do get both of our units as reinforcements. Yeah, we're going to have to send 1 unit to the north. I really just want to deal with these guys before they become a major threat. You can see they have 150 life, 51 defense, 31 damage, 37 attack, versus our units. We're similar, but we're not as good. So, alright, let's go ahead and manual this battle. We want to try to use our militia as much as possible. Leave our military units as far back as possible. So I'm just going to put him as far away as possible. These are our militia units, and we're going to try to team them up on that guy. I'm just going to leave him here, and we're actually going to put him in the stand your ground for this round. See what we can do. Okay. Now we can you can't quite get there. They're gonna get a move before we get to. Let's just focus everybody on this unit and hope that everybody can get to him. And let's hope that they don't tie up our units so that the rest of our military doesn't get to spawn in. But I want everybody to focus 1 unit if possible. Alright. That's not good. That's really not good. Oh my goodness. Okay, well. They're gonna get all kinds of damage because of their special attack. And they're getting defensive bonuses because they moved into a forest tile. There's not a lot we can do. That was lucky for us. Alright. He didn't die? Oh my goodness, he's gonna get 1 more swing off. We might not even finish these guys off this round. In fact, we almost certainly will not finish them off. Well, we only lost 1 militia unit. This is what I said. These are incredibly powerful units. And because our units are all melee right now, it just tends to cause them to clump together where their AoE damage attack really, really hurts. So I was really worried about this. The longer that we wait, the more powerful these units get, though. They do gain levels over time. So taking them out as quickly as possible is going to be the name of the game here. Because both of our units participated in the fight, we lost our attack point, or whatever you want to call it. Action point, I guess, down here. So we're going to have to wait till next turn to even attack this again, unfortunately. Fortunately, I can recombine these temporarily, which will give us positive dust for a turn. But we are going to have to split them up again in order to get some scouting done afterwards. I'm almost rethinking language square now. A little late. Gonna have to get it done. Alright. The good news is militia units that die automatically respawn the next turn, as long as you're not under siege, which we are not. So we'll get all of these militia units again, and we can ready up once more. We're just going to send everybody as far back as possible. And I'm actually going to put all of these guys on no attack and just let the militia deal with this thing. Because they're expendable. Alright, now this turn I'm going to send her to attack, but I'm going to retreat these guys to the back of the map because I don't want them taking any more damage, if possible. I think I have to change their stance. And then she is set to attack. Okay, that should be good. Alright, we'll just set him to stand ground. That should be good. Luckily, he missed. Alright, so that wasn't as bad as it could have been. Both of our dervishes are injured and our hero's injured, but they're not dramatically injured. We didn't really lose anything of value other than time. And these guys are now ready to assimilate, so we can actually build these units into our army at some point. They're very, very powerful units, but they're also extremely expensive industry-wise, which makes them kind of a liability. If you don't make good use of them, they're very costly to lose in battle. I don't think there's anything else we can do this turn. We might have a little bit of movement left. So I can send, yeah. Let's get this guy. We'll send him out this way first. And then we'll kind of loop him around to the north. And then this unit will send this direction. And kind of loop back around this way once we've uncovered more. So here's the Haunt Village. We have to pacify these guys. We're not going to get language square for another 3 turns, unfortunately. And that's with our 1 population pip on science. Haunts give you a nice science bonus. Unfortunately, it's a % bonus, which does us absolutely no good. Alright, and also, unfortunately, we're at negative dust again, so we can't run this indefinitely without solving that problem. This will temporarily solve the problem. Not ideal, I would much rather put that on industry, but until we get this building completed, we're going to be running negative. That building does produce a little bit of dust, so... Found another treasure site. 5 titanium. Unfortunately, this site we can't search because it's part of a quest. So we'll have to wait until we can get that quest figured out. Alright, next turn we're going to be able to talk to these guys. These are the Jodis. They are not particularly useful for most factions, but they do have a ranged attack. It's only a range of 2, so it's pretty short range ranged attack. But they also have a special ability, I believe, which is free counter, I think is what it's called. Basically, it gives them the option to make an additional counter attack per turn, which is nice. So they're very dangerous to attack because they counter attack you when you hit them. And the nice thing is they can even counter attack ranged units if they're close enough. So you shoot them with the bow and they shoot you back. Alright, next turn we'll talk to them and see if we can't come to some kind of an agreement. Maybe they'll want some titanium. That would be convenient. Colonize this area. Well, that is definitely a possibility. We are going to have to get our science building next. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Do I want to go around this direction? Probably. There's a lot of cliffs here you can see. We could come back around here. Yeah, let's do that. We'll pick up this next turn. Alright, and then our hero has mostly uncovered this region. Looks like there's another one out this direction. And these are the eyeless ones. So this is a 3-haunt region. Regions with 3 minor faction villages are more valuable than regions with fewer, but they're also a little bit harder to get all of the villages pacified. Sometimes. Yeah, there's not much else to do yet, so we'll just end the turn. We're going to try to maybe do a little double dipping here with our hero. So let's start with getting that. New quest, return to the village when we're ready to give them 50 dust. That's going to be a problem, since we don't have any dust. We could increase our dust output by a small amount by putting our hero back on our city and throwing some points into this. So I guess this is a good time to decide whether or not our hero is going to be a governor or a military hero. I tend to make this hero a military hero because they're ranged. Ranged military heroes are really effective at the beginning of the game. or at least they have the potential to be. But I think in this situation, we need all the help that we can get in our city. And even though we're not going to get a lot of dust out of this, it's something. What can we move into? I could potentially move into unit reduction cost, which is nice, and trade routes, which are nice, but that takes time. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go that way. Alright. Let's finish moving just in case we run into something else we can get some XP off of, like another parlay, perhaps? They don't want to talk to us. Okay. Alright. So we'll take our hero back next turn. But first we're going to come and grab this temple ruin and get a little bit of XP off of that. Oh, actually, this is about to be completed. So if we take our hero back now, they'll get XP off of the Founder's Memorial. Let's go ahead and do that. That'll give us the dust. Give us a little bit more dust. This will give us even more, and then maybe I can take... Oh, excuse me. That's right, our hero's actually buffing this, so we're getting even a little bit more off of this one population pip here. Alright, well, we'll just go with that for now. This guy can come and scout here, and 40 dust, that would have been nice. Now that we have the 50 dust for this guy, we could try to pacify him. I think we're just going to continue this direction and that direction, and you're definitely going there. Here's one of the nifty little things that ELCP added. One of the problems with the original game is when you would end your turn, many times you'd have a lot of actions that you would need your military units to perform immediately, and micromanaging that was a real problem. What ELCP did, it was a suggestion originally made by SB and also by myself directly to the ELCP guys, was find a way to make your moves automatically happen at the beginning of your turn. And so what they did was when you hit the end turn button, as soon as the movement icon lights up, if you click it, all of your units that have assigned movement orders will move immediately at the beginning of your turn. So it's not automatic, they don't automatically move, you have to click that button. But if you do, if you're trying to run away from, say, a dangerous military unit that you just happen to stumble upon, you actually have a real chance of getting away. Whereas before, being able to micromanage that was a matter of smashing this button a million times while the end turn was cycling. So now I just click that once, and I don't have to do anything else. Let's just move automatically. Super convenient. The one downside to that is if you accidentally set movement orders you didn't want on one of your many military units and you click that, they will move wherever their orders are set to. So it's a good idea to check all your orders before turn. Okay, what did we get? Successful search, more dust, that's good stuff. Construction has been completed. We need to pick something else to build. We don't have a lot of other things to build. One thing that we could benefit from actually is a borough district, because it's going to cover another anomaly, and that anomaly gives us more dust from our hero. Unfortunately, that's going to take 14 turns to complete. We're not likely to complete it before in a reasonable amount of time, so maybe we need to get something else instead. We can rebuild this Kazanji village. That's going to take 11 turns, and all that does is gives us one more population pip. That doesn't seem like a very good strategy either. We could also start working on our settler. That's going to take 12 turns. And we just don't have any really good options here. I think we go ahead and get this. This is going to give us more industry. It's going to give us more food, and it's going to give us more dust. So of all the things that need to be done that we have the ability to do, that's probably the most valuable. We could probably start moving these off of these here in a little bit and maybe over to production. But I'm going to get another population pip in 2 turns. We'll probably put that one on production, and that will speed these things up considerably, considering the small amount of production we're currently generating. Alright, let's go ahead and finish searching with this guy. More dust, that's good stuff. We want to transition our economy to a dust economy as quickly as possible off of industry anyways. The Roving Clans faction is one that is very adept at doing that. The question I have here is, do I want to scout anymore, or do I want to just come back and finish this quest? It is going to ask me to do something else, but part of getting this pacified, or getting this our main quest line started, was pacifying all these villages, which makes me think that this is the right play. So we're going to move there next. He's going to ask us to do something else after we give him this 50 dust. And it might be with a hero, which will take a little bit longer. But so be it. This guy can actually move up this direction now. And if I don't click this, they will not move automatically. So you have to click it at least one time. A lot of times you don't really need to move your units all at once. So this quest has been updated. They would like 5 glass steel to another haunt village for pacification. This is actually really doable if we can find a glass deposit, which I have not seen yet. There's a spice deposit here. We have a titanium deposit there. Another spice here, but no glass steel. Oh wait, there's one right there. Okay, so we need to settle this region. Start mining the glass steel, and then bring it here as quickly as possible. That is making me want to switch this to the settler. It also makes me want to uncover this region and this region ASAP, because if we're definitely settling this region next, we're going to need to know what our 2 adjacent regions look like. I really would like to know what's north of us. So let's start heading that way. We got a Delver in a very tiny... Oh, I guess not. This is all part of that region. I guess this is glass steel over here too. We could go talk to this guy. He has informed us that there are Kazanji nearby that need to be destroyed. I don't think that's likely to be us that makes that happen. That is a good point. We were 1 turn away, right? Very good point. Yeah. I forgot, when you put your settler in queue, it completely stalls your growth and will actually take one of your population pips once it's finished. So we really do need that other pip made before we switch to the settler. Good call. Thanks, Bobby. That would have been a big mistake on my part, because it's going to take way longer. We're going to get about a 30% increase in our industry output here next turn. Anything else that we need to do this turn? I don't think there really is. Alright, so now that we have... We probably can move that off as well. So we can move that up to 19. That's going to take quite a few turns off of that. That'll give us 18 We'll be on turn 18 before our settlers produce, but that's probably reasonable. Unfortunately, we're not going to have anything else done, which is kind of unreasonable. Okay, here's this is the Kazanji village that he wants us to destroy. So normally having a Kazanji in your starting region and in your neighboring region would be really beneficial. Or not Kazanji, but the same minor civ, because more villagers that you have in your control, the bigger your minor civ bonus is. The Kazanji's minor civ bonus is 5% influence per Kazanji village. So right now we have one Kazanji village that we could rebuild. If we had 2 regions with Kazanji, we could have as many as 4, which would be up to 20%. 20% additional influence per turn is pretty good return. Alright, let's get up here. So what these guys want, they want more glass steel as well. They are much less likely to get it. Then get wiped out. Eyeless ones are notoriously weak support units, but they do have an interesting assimilation bonus. They provide plus approval, which can be really handy in some situations. Let's go out and around this way. Gold. That's actually pretty good timing. Got one more region to the north of us that we'll want to scout, and then we want to regroup our army right around turn 20 and start figuring out what we're going to do militarily. Alright, so we've got 2 boosters we can run. We should pick one of these to run for sure. That one's actually got a benefit. This will actually increase our overall approval above a threshold. So we definitely want to run at least one of these. This one's also going to help our dust situation out for a little bit. Let's grab that and then swing back into our territory. Getting these luxury boosters running will be very helpful. Anything else we want to do? Public library's almost up. Can actually move this off. We'll still get public library next turn. We don't need the public library right away because we're not going to be able to build it for a while anyways. So while we're waiting for that, we could start working on something else. Dust seems to be under control. Food seems to be better than the rest of our fidsies. We definitely need to get Alchemist Furnace started. So I'm actually going to switch these two. We should remain almost completed. This one should be almost done. And so we'll just work on that one for a couple turns, and then right before we get ready to build it, we'll switch it back. I forgot to move my units. They did move for me. Alright. Looks like... yeah, there's an island right off to the north of us. Northwest, I guess. That's actually pretty useful information. Okay, we got an empty location and then more dust. This region has titanium and emeralds. And more dust. Alright, so there's a lot of luxury resources around us that we might be able to pick up and use. What else can we do? Anything else? Can we speed this up with dust at all? We actually might be able to buy this out a turn early. Maybe even 2 turns early. Might be worth doing. I think we are going to do that. Empire plan in 6 turns. We currently have 29. We're going to get 12. That's going to put us over 40. 40 gives us access to 2 of these. Unless we build our city before turn 20. In which case we're only going to get 1 of these because I believe the cost goes up to 40. I would like to get 2 of these, but the 2 that are going to be most valuable to us are that one and that one. Since we don't have any science, 20% extra science isn't even going to be that much. So if I had to pick 2, it would be these 2 right now. If I had to pick just 1, it's probably going to be that, because we're going to be building our military up over the next 20 turns after the first 20. At least that's typically my plan of attack. First 20 turns is scout and get your home region settled. Get your first settler made and settled right around turn 20. But we're going to be able to do this a little early, and I might do it early because I want to start mining this as soon as possible. So that we can get this quest moving along. The Dorgeshi are asking us not to put anything into the military ministry when we do our next empire plan. If we do not put anything, then they will pacify. Boy, that complicates things for me just a hair. We also found Wolfsbane the Shepherd, which is an interesting staff, but we don't have a hero that uses a staff yet. If there happens to be glass steel in this region, the Dorgeshi are a really powerful unit. Unfortunately, they're very similar to the unit that we already have. so that's titanium. I'll get there next turn. So I guess the question is, where are we settling you? There are a number of options. So this is definitely an option, no science. This is definitely an option, no science. This is definitely an option, a fair amount of science. That's a 2-turn trek. But I think that might be the best location. We could also move our hero to that, and we will be picking up 3 anomalies. Let's just zoom in here and see if there's anything I'm missing. Yeah, that looks to be the best region, and it is gonna give us a bunch of science, which we really need. So that's where we're gonna settle. We're gonna settle a little bit earlier than I normally like to. But we really need to. Now this is 5 turns away. How bad does it get if I do this? Only 1. That goes up to 8, but we get Alchemist Furnace in 2. Let's do this. I need this Alchemist Furnace done so that we can immediately build the extractor and start mining. We might even buy it out. Get you out of harm's way. We're getting close to the point in time where minor villages are going to start spawning things that are not so pleasant to be around. Alright, so he's going to make it there next turn. Alchemist Furnace will be completed that turn. And we will be able to pop a booster before we drop that city, so we'll get a little bit of extra approval for a few turns. We might be able to salvage this start. It was a really rough start, I think. We're not going to be in a great position, but we're not going to be in the worst position ever. Depending on what I go with, we might be able to pick this region up. It's got 2 Dorgeshi. They'll be pacified. That will be our second settle, perhaps. We're not going to be able to take this easily without a military. None of these other regions look really exciting. This one will be easy to take, but there's not much here other than access to the ocean. Also, this region, this tile right here is a special tile. There is a special setup that is fairly rare on coastal regions, where if you get 4 empty tiles like this around an ocean tile, you can actually level up a cargo dock. It's very difficult to do. Like, this tile right here cannot be leveled up because there's only 3, and a lot of times you'll have a ruin or a village that get in the way and do not allow you to build burrows all the way around. But you can build a burrow on this, and so you can get all the way around this tile and level up a cargo dock. So that actually could pay major dividends if you did build a very trade-heavy faction and you got ocean trade going. So that's something to think about. Definitely a tile we should consider getting. But not right away. Alright, this unit, let's turn this off. This unit needs to probably just garrison for a little while. That will lower our dust cost per turn. And then eventually we'll get our city completely filled with military, and then we'll go out and do some more scouting. We're going to have to get this completed first. Alright, we're in a good spot here. Dust Eclipse? Yeah. Nice. Okay, so anytime you're about to drop a city down, two things you should always consider doing. One is if you are on a turn where you have a empire plan, you should consider your empire plan and set it before you drop the city, because once you drop the city, the cost of all these go up. If you're in a position like we are where the empire plan's coming up soon, you're going to have to increase the cost of your empire plan by whatever the cost would go up. I believe it goes up by 20 for each city. So this is going to be 40 in each direction instead of 20 with 2 cities. Each city increases the cost by whatever one city was. So one city's 20, then 2 cities going to be 40. That means we're only going to get to pick one of these, and we can't pick this one if we want to pacify the Dorgeshi. This doesn't feel very useful because it's a % bonus on a very small number. So it's probably this, which will allow us to accelerate through buyouts a little bit better. We are going to get dust online here pretty quickly, and I'll show you how that's going to work. But we do want to make sure that we actually hit the 40 before the end of turn 20. So the other thing is pop boosters. If you have any boosters you want to pop, the cost for popping these goes up. Right now we can do it for 10 because we only have one city. The next city we drop is going to make this 15, which means these emeralds are pretty useless for anything but trade. So I'd rather just go ahead and pop them now. This will give the new city a little bit more approval. We build it. And then we're going to immediately get this glass steel going. 137 dust. We can lower this cost significantly with a little bit of production. And then we're going to need a military unit to come back here. Let's check that quest and see exactly how much we needed. 5 glass steel, so it's going to be 5 turns from now. They're likely to spawn a haunt in that time, which means we're going to have to fight at least one haunt, but now we have a village with militia that can do the fighting for us. Haunts are pretty much equally scary as Kazanji. They have a very similar AoE melee attack, which is terrifying. Okay, I have a couple of options here. So we just garrisoned one of these guys, but this one is still out. I was going to garrison him, but now that there's a dust eclipse, it might actually be beneficial to get out and try and grab these again. It is a little bit dangerous to run over there and do that, but the rewards for grabbing those are quite good. Unfortunately, in our home region, looks like there is one right here. So I can bring him out, grab that one. Oh no, that's the quest. I forgot about that. That's the quest that we picked up earlier. So that was kind of a waste of movement. We do need to move him down this way though, because we are going to have to get to this village, I think, when we have the when we have the glass steel we need. What happens during a dust eclipse for us? Provide 20% more health regeneration on units standing on city tiles and massively buffs Setseke attributes? I'm not sure what the Setseke attributes are. Whatever. I do want to double check. Did it ask for a hero? It just says bring 5 glass steel to the other region. So we don't need our heroes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign our hero to this city. And that's going to give us significantly more dust because we have 3 anomalies here. And we can move these both back over here for now, which will get that done a little bit quicker. And then research-wise, we got the public library. I'm going to move that into the queue. I'm going to just put the titanium deposit down there. And science-wise, we need to figure out what our next research is going to be. Almost certainly going to be the mill foundry. This is probably the latest that I've ever built mill foundry in a game. But every game of Endless Legend is different, and you'll find situations that defy the odds. Alright, we just crossed the threshold of 40 influence. So we're good for our booster, and as I predicted, this did go up to 40. That's all we're going to be able to do, but that's fine. That's all I was planning on being able to do. Looking at my Empire bonuses. Not seeing anything about Setsuke or whatever that word is, attributes. I know, what is this? Okay. Move this city. Yeah, I know I can move this city. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it means by massively boost the Setsuke attributes. Maybe it increases your movement and health and stuff. Like your city becomes an actual military unit. I don't know. I've never really used the city as a military unit. We can buy this out now, which we should definitely do. And then immediately build a public library. So we can get some more science and actually get some technology going. This unit can move 1. We're within walking distance of that, but we're not in danger of being attacked because we're in our own territory and not in their region. These villages are still hostile to us, except for this one. Or no, this one is still hostile too, I believe. But we have a quest to potentially make them not hostile. Alright, this unit can go ahead and move. And pick up that. 90 dust, that's very good. These are the confluxes, which give you special buffs, but only during the eclipse, which only lasts for a few turns. We're not going to worry about grabbing that, but we might grab this. So we're going to try to get over here and grab this one on the next turn. And then these guys can just stay where they're at. They have extra movement points, but we can just put them to sleep temporarily. Alright. Construction has been completed. We now have the glass steel extractor. So on turn 25 we can complete this quest and continue our faction quest. And the Empire plan is available. We're going to throw that over there. And then I think over here, starting next turn, I'm going to move all these pips over here because we're going to get a lot more dust per turn. That is going to increase the time it takes to get this done, but we can buy this out now a lot more easily than we could have a moment ago. And then the dust per turn is really going to start to add up. Over here, we're just going to keep building. We got a lot of things to build. This pacification is now completed. So these villages are both pacified. We want to try to get up here and settle this. We'll get a second titanium deposit and an emerald deposit. And 2 villages right off the bat. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with. There's a lot of science tiles up here, which is a pleasant surprise. There's some food here near this anomaly. So I'm guessing somewhere over here by this anomaly is probably going to be the best. There's a little bit of industry in all of these tiles. Probably something like right here. Makes the most sense. It does provide us a lot of room to grow a nice big triangular city, which are the best kind of cities in Endless Legend. So I think that's probably our location. And as a result, we're going to go ahead and move a settler up in the queue right after this public library gets built. We may actually get the mill foundry in there prior to the settler as well, but that's our next major objective, I think, is to get this city or this tile settled next, since we've already got these 2 cities, villages, pacified. Looking down here again, this is going to take a while, but again, I can buy this out if I want to. I'm not so sure that I want to. This is going to make the most sense to build a long stick-like city. It's just be 2 tiles deep and as many tiles wide as we can go from one end of the region to the other. That's going to be the best shape for improving approval. Which one of these 3 tiles makes the most sense? Probably that one. That's going to take a long time. We are making more population though. Do I want to just buy this out now? What else am I going to use that dust for? Is there anything that I need that dust for? We don't need to retrofit anytime soon. That one's going to be built relatively quickly. The only other thing I would use that dust for is to buy out my settler, but I'd rather just get the science now. And we're making 15 a turn, so let's go with that. Alright, he made it here, he searched, and more dust, good for us. Turn that off again. Is there anything over here that we need to grab? Maybe just scout a little bit more? He is getting a little far from home. Another Jodis village. This is all part of the same Jodis region. Very long, skinny region. I think that's about as far as I want to go. Okay, so this indicates that somebody's already searched this ruin, which means we're near someone else. One of the real important things that you need to do when playing the roving clans, you need to aggressively expand forward in the early game. And the reason for that is the roving clans have a special mechanic where they have the inability to declare war on other factions. And so if you get boxed in by other factions, it's very difficult for you to get out of that until later in the game where you have some ways of hiring mercenaries to do shenanigans for you. But otherwise, it's very difficult if somebody will not declare war on you to actually get in a position to fight over territory. So being very, very fast on expansion and getting lots of settlers early can sometimes pay big dividends because you can lock down territory um, and then just kind of backfill behind your empire, especially if you're up on the coast like this. So while I really want to grab this territory next, what we might do instead is forward expand into one of these other territories, and maybe even this one here. And even though it's not an ideal territory for us, there's nothing really unique or special about it. It's got a glass steel